Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. So a couple months back, some of y'all may remember, I made a video comparing two of my banjos, a Gold Tone Obi 250 Plus and a Rogue B30. And the goal of that video was just to let folks know if they need an expensive banjo as a beginner. I was just giving my thoughts on that. And this video will be kind of similar, but it's with a different goal. I made a short about a month ago comparing these two banjos and basically just asking if people can hear the difference. And that short ended up doing really well. It's gotten a lot of views, and therefore it's gotten a lot of comments as well. And a lot of the comments on that video have been very nice, and a lot of the people who can't hear the difference, they've been very nice. I appreciate that. But then I've also gotten the comments that are just kind of amusing. And you can go check that video out. I will leave that in the comments down below. You can go check that video out, see what you think, read comments if you want to be amused. But anyway, a lot of those comments seem to think that those two banjos are the same thing and one is just a name brand or something and one's an off-brand. That's not the case. They're made of completely different parts. They're constructed completely differently, and the expensive one has parts in it that the inexpensive one does not. So it's not just like they're the same exact thing, but one is a name brand and one isn't. So I'll be showing the differences in the construction and the parts of an entry-level banjo and a more expensive banjo. I also want to say that my Gold Tone banjo is not that high-end of a banjo. I mean, it's pretty nice. It's got the main things that a banjo needs to be a good bluegrass banjo, but it's not top of the line. But anyway, I'll go ahead and get the banjos out and show you the differences. So here are both of them. This is basically what I did in that first video that I made a couple months ago. But you can see obvious differences in the way they look. Of course, that's not going to affect the sound. Inlays on the neck aren't going to affect it. Planetary tuners, which is tuners that go out the back of the peg head, those aren't really going to affect sound. I actually talked with Jim Pankey about this, that since they do have a little bit more mass to them, they could make a slight difference, but probably not much. So yeah, the differences in looks, there's a big difference. Obviously, this one's more fancy, but that doesn't affect the sound and the playability, and that's the big thing I'm talking about in this video. I did get several comments saying that if I put the same brand head on both and tightened them the same, that they would sound the same. But actually, that's not true, because I do have the same brand head on both of these, tightened at the same tension. The reason you see the Remo logo on this one and not that one is just because it's upside down on this banjo. I have it under the tailpiece to where you can't see it. And I also had people saying that this one's probably not that good because they can tell that I use this one more. Now this one does have a lot more wear to it, but that's because it was my first banjo and I used it a ton for years. And this Gold Tone, I just got it 5 months ago, and when I got it I put a brand new head on it. So that's why there's so much more noticeable wear on this one than this one. I also have the same strings on both. There were people commenting about that as well. So the heads are the same and the strings are the same. There is a big difference in feel. Even I have both of them on my knees right here, and I can feel the big difference between how solid this one feels, how comfortable it feels to fret. And this one, there's just not a ton of adjustability to make it more playable. This one, you can adjust the action on it, which is how high the strings are off the fingerboard, which will make it much easier to fret. And then it's just constructed in such a way that the neck is more solid, it's more solidly connected to the body and made to be a good banjo, where this one is not so much like that. But this one, fretting it is easier, playing fast is easier on it because the neck is made to be more comfortable. And now I'll get into the major things that change the tone, and those are inside of the banjos, so I will take off the resonators and show you. Okay, so this is the Rogue. I've got the resonator off, and here's the inside of it. You can see the rim in here. I believe it's aluminum just because it's very light and it's very inexpensive, so I believe that's probably aluminum. And you can see right there where the head attaches, it's just making contact with this piece of aluminum. There's no kind of tone ring or anything else in there. It's just directly onto this piece of metal, and that's all there is in here. It's just this one piece of what I believe is aluminum, and that's it. And then note that it's also only got one rod in here. And here's the Gold Tone with the resonator taken off. Now if you don't know about the insides of the banjos, you're going to be very surprised at how different the inside looks. You can see that there's a big piece of wood in here. That's called a rim. The other one has a rim, but like I said, I believe it's aluminum. This is a 3-ply maple rim. So yeah, it's just a very nice high quality piece of wood in here. And then I hope you can see it through here under the rim, way deep in there. You can see that thing with holes in it. That is a tone ring. This banjo has a JLS Bell Bronze tone ring. So the tone ring sits on top of the rim, and then the head sits on top of the tone ring. And if you're wondering what difference these make, they make a really big difference in sound. They help the banjo be a lot louder. They help it to have more punch and more resonance. Now in a video, of course, it's a little bit harder to tell than in person, but you can see right here, very different on the inside. This banjo is much louder than the other one. It has much more projection. It has just more of a crack to it. And you can also see that this one has 2 rods. I don't know if you can see that from this angle, hope you can. And that helps the adjustability as well. You can kind of adjust the action through that. If you do that too much, you could actually get the rim out of shape, and the tone ring and the rim won't be making complete contact, and that'll make the banjo not sound quite as good. So anyway, yeah, now you've seen the very big difference in what's in these banjos. And the rim and the tone ring, those are both expensive parts, which is part of what makes this banjo so much more expensive. But it truly does make a really big difference in the volume and the projection and just the overall attack that the banjo has. And anyway, that's it for this video. I was just motivated to make this because, like I said on that short, I've gotten so many comments from people that seem to think that they're the exact same thing, but different brands. And I just wanted to show the difference in the construction and what they look like, what they're made of, what the Gold Tone has that the Rogue doesn't. So yeah, I just hope this video was informative, and if you already knew all this, hope it was at least entertaining. Anyway, I hope y'all have a great day, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.